Hello, everyone. Welcome to Elevate Live, episode 13. Yet another series during this Easter break with Dr. Susie today, sharing insights about this digital business and her story. But before we begin, let me explain those who are new. I'm Harshini Samaradivakara. I'm a lecturer living in the UK for the past 3.5 years. And of course, I recently became a digital business owner and a mentor in this platform. And I'm proudly sharing these experiences and these stories within my page for you to inspire and, break these barriers and start this kind of online business and change your life as well. So I'm bringing every week a new digital business partner with all sorts of different backgrounds just to inspire you and to give you a little bit of a comfort to see different stories, how they overcome those fears. And, you can understand, there are different kinds of people of all ages, different educational backgrounds and different parts of the world. They are doing this business successfully. So you can do it too. So today I'm privileged to have Dr. Susie. She's our coach. And mentoring us as well throughout this journey. And I would like to have her today and, unveil her story in front of you because it's such an amazing story that I too inspired recently as well. So Dr. Susie, welcome to Elevate Life episode today. I'm so privileged to have you today and thank you for setting aside time during your Easter break. Hope you had a wonderful Easter.
Yes, I did. Thank you so much.
And let's begin with giving a little bit of an introduction. Rather than me talking about you, I would like to hear from you about your story.
Okay, thank you, Harshini, for just inviting me into your platform. So it's an honor and privilege to share this stage with you. So for those who do not know who I am, and for the benefit of my new followers and for Harshini's page, my name is Dr. Susie Jacob. I am a general practitioner in the UK. I'm a mom. Proud mom of a 17-year-old. She's preparing at the moment for her A-levels, which is just knocking at her door at the moment. And also I live with my husband here in the UK. My husband's a private chef by background who's now completely retired thanks to this business. I was able to retire him within 14 months into the business. From working 50 hours, I work about 27 hours a week thanks to this business within just 20 months into the business. It's been a life-changing business opportunity, and I'm so grateful to God to have shown me this opportunity. It's been transformed our lives. I get to be with my family, do what I want to do, when I want to do, with not asking much permission to anyone, really. And it's given me choices, and I think that's the biggest thing that this business has given me, choice to decide what I want to do.
Thank you, Dr. Susie. So somebody was, thinking like you are a well-paid doctor, medical professional living in the UK. So why a person like you start an online business?
Sure. It's a very common question that I get to ask. And to be honest, there's a lot of doctors in my team. So we all, some of us are really well paid. I've got endocrinologists, pediatrician, obstetricians, public health doctors, GPs, and all in my team. But, when many of us are paid really well in the UK, but what we don't have is time. Yes, we are paid well, but that comes with a very, very heavy price. Most of us have missed milestones of our kids. I have my own daughter's milestones. I was not there when she actually took her first steps because I was working nights at that time. So many of us really, really paid a heavy price to actually be earning that money. And sometimes, our children really misses us. For me also, my biggest why was my daughter. I have just one daughter, so it wasn't like she had somebody else to fight with or talk to at home. And when dad and me work long days. Like for me, if I go in the morning, start work at 8:30, there were nights when I came back at 8:30, and my husband leaves home at 4:30 in the morning and comes back home after 11. So she was all alone. And the thing is, when she was very young, we had nannies and we had childminders, but once she went into secondary school, she's too old to have a childminder. So, and she can obviously heat her own food. So we actually left it. But what I didn't realize at that point in time is the, how would it have affected her mental health. Because my daughter is a very much an extroverted personality, not like me. I'm actually an introvert, a very private person. I could possibly sit in my bedroom, just read a book for a few days, and it wouldn't bother me at all. But my husband and my daughter wouldn't be able to survive without talking to anyone, because they thrive, they get their energy. They're proper extroverts, getting their energy. They thrive in the midst of a crowd. So I didn't understand the impact that it had on my daughter's mental health, and it was quite too late. And I have to say, it really broke my heart that it was kind of like very late when I figured out that and she's a girl. Like we always say, mental health, usually girls are very good at masking. So I didn't realize that for a long time. And I think when she just couldn't take it any longer, only I came to know that she was depressed. And and she had very dark thoughts. And I knew at that point I needed, money is good, but not at the cost of your children. So it was very easy for me to decide that she's more important than my career. And that's why I hopped on the online space. But all my doctor colleagues who are doing the business all have, they all want time freedom. We do have money, but no time. And the job is stressful. So there's no nice way of saying that. And the job does take a part of you when people die, and, the stress is a bit more. I remember my husband once jokingly say, he's my biggest supporter, whether it is to do with my work as a doctor or in the online space. And he says, well, my job is to cut chickens, dead chickens, but you'll have to deal with, human beings, alive human beings. And I said, yeah, so it is a very tough job. There's no nice way to say that. And it does take a toll, part of you when you do that. And I just wanted a bit of break from that. Not that because I hated it, but it was for my own mental sanity that I wanted to do something so that I had a choice of how many hours I could work, really.
Wow. What a touching story. And I think, Dr. Susie, most of the parents who are especially living in abroad, they don't have that family support to take care of their children. I think most of them are, even if you are listening, you might also going through this kind of struggle. And your kids might be small now, but when they are growing up, you might experience these kind of problems. And even I have two teenagers, Dr. Susie, 13 and 17-year-old. I can really see their change. We have to be there, look after them. Maybe it's not that the way we look after them when they are small, but, be present with them, be attentive to what they're doing and to really see those gaps. So while we are working, it's really hard to get. As a lecturer as well, I feel like, we are constantly juggling with time to find those things. Yeah. Thank you so much for sharing that story with us. That really resonated with everybody, I think, in this audience. But tell me, how did you find that time through this online business, Dr. Susie?
So the one thing, so I came to, because, when you are a doctor, and like you as a lecturer, we don't know anything other than what we do, isn't it? You probably don't know anything other than teaching. And I don't know anything other than being a doctor. So I had to do some kind of, I started looking out for things. And, first thing, what do you do? This was about 4-5 years ago when I started looking. So when I started looking for things 4-5 years ago, what do doctors do? extra money because I'm a doctor. So that's the first thing. And I looked at it and I looked, a lot of doctors do property, but
Yeah.
property needs a lot of money. Or if you go for strategies that don't need money, it needs your time. And I'm actually doing this for time. So it's not like I had a lot of time. But again, unless you do things, unless you start making, taking that step, you wouldn't know. So I went into this property course, spent loads of money learning, and I don't regret it because I still know how to do them.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So and obviously I am a true believer of not having just one or two streams of income, but multiple. So that, you don't put all your eggs in one basket. So you should have at least 7, 8, I would say, streams of income. So for me, I started learning and I went into property, and I realized it was taking a lot of time. I had to take annual leave to do the business. I made some money, but it was very slow progress, but it was taking too much time. And I was like, and my husband was also like, you actually started this so that you could have more time. Now you're not at all at home, which was true. So I was like, there's something wrong with this. And then I tried something like crypto. I thought that's online, made a lot of money, lost a lot of money. It was more like gambling. And then I came to the realization, this is not for me. It doesn't, I follow a kind of like an ethical and moral standard. And I felt like, I couldn't do that anymore. But when I went in, because I guess I jumped into one thing after the other, is because I was from a very desperate state. I just wanted somehow to actually spend time with my daughter. So I went into that, lost a lot of money. And then, because by that time I was in social media, like trying to find clients and stuff like that, I saw my mentor's post, not her ad, actually. I saw her post on social media. And at that point, my husband and my father, they were both like, you studied so hard to be a doctor. You worked so hard and came to the UK, went, climbed up all the career, because by that time I was in high management level also. You did all that. And what are you doing with your life at the moment? And I remember having the conversation with my father, said, just give me a chance, Papa, just give me a chance. And that was the exact words that my mentor used, because in her instance, it was her mom asking her. And she was like, when she was started the business, her mom said, what are you doing? You have such a nice nursing career. Why are you leaving all this and going after this scam? And she said the exact words, Mommy, just give me a chance. So it clicked. It was like, because I believe in God, I believe that God placed that opportunity in front of me at the right time. I had that same experience with my father, while she had that same experience with her mother. So, once you like somebody's post, it keeps on coming to your page. And then I realized she made about 2/3 of what I make in a year by only work, and she was working only 1 day a week. And I was like, I want that. I want that. And then I went, so I just followed her for a month and a half, and then I just contacted her and told her I'd like to know more, and the rest is history, to be honest. And the rest is completely history. But I did try a few things. So, because you don't know, isn't it? If you have no idea what works and what doesn't work, you just try. Yes, you do make, like, people might say, oh, you have 2 failures. No, I would say, because of that, when I came into the business, I knew why this business would work for me. Because of my previous experience. And your previous experiences will never go waste. For me, property will never go waste, because when I get a bit more time, I am going to go back into property. That's just something I want to do anyway. So it is not going to go waste. And then when you do something else also, like crypto or something else, you know why that has worked, or what elements of it is good and what elements of it is bad. Unfortunately, there is no way that people can learn. People learn only 2 ways. Either you jump and take the leap of faith make the mistakes and learn from your mistakes, or you listen to people like me and
Yeah,
learn from my mistakes. So there's
exactly.
only two way. At that point, I didn't know a lot of people. And there is a cliche actually in business and in life, I would say, you're the average of the 5 people you surround yourself with.
Exactly.
At that point in time, yes, I had a few, but not like how the network I have now. So you have to surround yourself with 5 people, and that might be just even reading their books,
Mm.
because that they will influence you. You have to follow people who you aspire to become. And respectfully, you shouldn't listen to people who are not where you want to be. That might include your own parents. And that's what I did. I love my parents, I love my husband, but they weren't giving me any option of how I could stay at home with my daughter. They were just telling me, oh, you're just wasting your money and things like that. Okay, but no one's giving me an option of what I'm supposed to do there. And I knew I would do whatever it takes to be there for my daughter. And that's it. And the rest is history.
Yeah, thank you so much for sharing that, Dr. Susie. So that since you have tried several options, you can really figure it out what best. And now when you compare the other property business to crypto, to all other investment opportunities and online opportunities, why this online business is so unique? Can you really point it out some direction?
Yeah, absolutely. Because I was working 50 hours. My husband was working 60 hours. So at least now my husband does a bit of cooking and bit of cleaning and stuff like that. Yes, I had a cleaner, but I still had a lot of mom duties because he was never at home.
Hmm.
I had so much responsibility even after coming home. And I didn't have time with property because I had to go to these places. I had to drive to these places. And these realtors, usually all these companies are open from 9 to 5 or 9 to 6. That's my core general practice hours. That means if I needed to do the business properly, I needed to be, off that time, which was not possible. While online business is 24/7. Whether you work night shift, whether you do day shift, it doesn't really matter because the business will work around you. And that is why you can see a lot of people like us, medical professionals, healthcare professionals, doing this because it works around our schedule. I'm not here to tell property is bad. Absolutely not. That's why I precisely said when I get the time, I will go back. But a lot of people doing property either have a management team, which didn't make sense for me because I am trying to make money. So when you're initially trying to make money, I know a lot of people who are doing property initially and all, they go and clean the property, clean the bathroom, everything themselves. Because that's what you do initially. Of
Yeah.
course, when you have maybe 10 properties or even 5 properties, you'll get everyone else because by that time you're making a bit of money. But when you're starting off, and I was already so busy. And you don't need to go out of your house to do this business. You can actually do this business during your break time. For instance, when I started this business, you have to obviously learn before you earn. So initially, I was having while doing, I have the morning clinic and afternoon clinic. So in the afternoon, during lunch hour, we do our paperwork. So I had my second screen open and I was listening to the training. So you could be traveling to London in the tube. You might have to travel for an hour. The number of people who download things from Netflix and Prime to watch during, instead of that, do our training. 1 hour in the tube could change your life. Absolutely change your life. Or do you have an hour drive? We have lots of people in our team who listen to the training while they're driving. Because anyway, most people do listen to music, isn't it, when they drive? So it is something that you can absolutely do during that time. Of course, there'll be parts of the training you might need to come back and say, okay, I need to focus on it. But you could always come back and that 15 minutes you can spend to just grasp that concept. So can you see how flexible this business is then for ordinary people? We have people in our team who puts, like, we have weekly masterminds where our top leaders doing the business for 9-10 years come and give their tips and tricks and tips to us as business owners. And I know business partners who listen to the training while they're cooking. So these are the ways you can do, while you can't do property while cooking. Let's put it that way. And that's probably why you see a lot of women, because it's very, very flexible for a woman to do this. And because men probably have more options. They'll be probably the kind who'd like to go use their hands and do the things like property. And that's why I'm saying that's a good option for them. But then property does require quite a substantial amount. Even if you were to find like a mentor for a year or so, you will need to spend quite a bit of money. So all in all, and for us also, don't get me wrong, there is an investment into our business, but there is different sorts of investment depending on how you can start. I generally tell people, can you cut 2 takeaways a month? I think you can start this business. It's as simple as that. Obviously, there's different tires depending on your need and your goals, but that is how simple it is. But I don't think you can start a property business less than £6,000. Let's put it this way. You can start our business for less than £6,000. Yeah. So that is the difference between that and having something like an online business. So the flexibility and around that, it works around. And then the team, like because I did other mentorship, I did the Tony Robbins mentorship just to know about digital marketing, and because he's very motivational, so I did his course and all. When you enroll to their courses, at any course, usually it's about 3 months or 12 months or whatever. Our mentorship program is for life. I've never heard of anything like that. I've never heard a concept where you can. And then when you are part of our mentorship, you get access to our network. And remember me telling you, you are the, sum total of the 5 people you surround yourself with. And that's why people in our teams are ranking up. Because when you surround yourself with like-minded people who are in much better level than you are, you will rise with them. It's as simple as that. And you get to have access to that network for life.
Yes.
And the other thing is, all these online stuff has a techie part to it, but you don't need to know anything like how to do hosting, or how to do coding, or how to make a website or something. We have a back office who you can contact via ticketing system to set all that up for you. So for me, doing other businesses and coming to this business, I was like, this is a no-brainer. This is an absolutely no-brainer. If you go to central London to have a meal with your spouse or with your partner, and you have a couple of drinks, it'll cost you more than what you need, to get access to our mentorship and our back office and our network. It costs you less than that to have access to that. Like for me, I was like, oh my God, is this even real?
That's what I thought as well.
Even real?
Yeah. And even I didn't realize that one until I come into the system. But when I'm in, I realized, this is amazing. This is what I really looked into, because I also searched a lot of business opportunities, but none of them offered this kind of support and a platform and kind of no subscription at all. It's a kind of your own business, isn't it? So I have very high regards on this business, and I'm proudly introducing it to anybody. Even one of my students asked, Harshani, what are you doing? What is this digital business? I'm so proud to introduce them, because I know how it changed their life. And the time like this, Susie, people reached out to us, the war, the inflation, we got to have another income stream, isn't it?
Absolutely.
Otherwise, you're helpless, it's a kind of a taking that decision to change our life.
saying
Yeah.
about war and things like that. I spoke to my dad. It's Easter, so I spoke to him yesterday. He was like asking me, "Oh, what's the like petrol prices are up
Mhm.
the roof everywhere, isn't it?" So he
Yeah.
was asking me what the petrol prices. I was like, "I don't actually fill the gas. It's my husband." And my dad was like, "If I ask your husband, he says, oh, I don't know. I just put it full tank, and he doesn't look." So my dad, I told my dad, Dad, for me, petrol is a business expense. I actually don't look at the price. I'm really
Mm.
sorry. I actually don't know. And I was thinking, there was a time when I used to compare which petrol station was cheaper.
Yes, exactly.
Now I don't do that because, and that's exactly I told my dad. I said, we fill gas about every other week. I said, but I said I don't know how much, and because he was, I was like, okay, you're online. Let me look at how much it is, and I was like, oh wow, the place I go is a little bit expensive than some other, but the other place is a bit more farther, and it was like 155p, and I was like, and then I told him I think that's the highest it's been because I remember a time when it was under a pound. I
Yes.
remember a time. But then I knew the average was around 125 or something.
Mm.
So I said, I haven't looked at it. And I told that I don't look at it anymore because I don't have to. Imagine
Because
a
you
life where because for me, having a car, I'm a GP. I do nursing home rounds. So it's not just like a luxury, it's a necessity for me
Mm.
because I go and see patients in their, homes or nursing homes and things like that. It, so it is a need for me. And of course, and then, us as a family, we need a car. So because it's a necessity, I said, I don't look how much it is anymore. If I need it, I buy it.
exactly. Yeah.
That it's as simple as that, and that is what this business has done for me. If I need something, don't get me wrong, I am not someone who goes after luxury. I don't go for luxury bags and stuff like that. Although people have bought me a lot of luxury bags, I do
Mhm.
have few luxury bags because someone else has bought it for me, you know what I mean. But I don't go for luxury for the name, and I think it's a wrong thing also. You don't
Mm.
have to follow everyone out there buying all those labels and all. You don't need the labels, but you need to have money for everyday stuff.
Without worrying, without stressing up,
Like me, when my dad asked us, like, huh, that's a good question, I haven't looked at it for a while now.
That's true. Yeah. Sometimes we postpone things that we love to wear, to buy, thinking that I'm buying it next month. Yesterday, one of my elites were talking to me and saying that I wanted to buy that business model and see what's going on, but I couldn't afford this month. This month, yeah, I have to buy, Easter, everything, the new year coming in. So they're postponing things because they're calculating every single penny. But
Absolutely.
once you have the side hustle, and when you have that plan B, you're getting a continuous sources of income, you don't want to worry this. You can do what you like, isn't it? So that mental freedom means a lot to me as well. And of course, Dr. Susie, I'm surrounding with a lot of professionals, but their jobs are getting, redundant, right? Most of the university lecturers and even the people, I'm teaching for apprentice students and their companies. So this uncertainty around job market is also a big one to play. We never know our job's gonna stay for long. So we have to have some kind of a backup plan, and doing something alongside your job is, kind of, I thought this is one of the miracles that I, got whatever the universe put up to me. So thank you so much for sharing all those insights, Dr. Susie. One final thing I want to hear from you, because you have came a long journey, right? From mentor to a coach, and you are hearing a lot of people, when a person is coming to as a business owner into this platform, he's trying to build something. First thing they do is they have a coach call with coach like you. So they might be sharing their fears, their bottlenecks. What are those common fears, and what is your advice for them to take the next step?
Yeah, so a lot of them come just like me. They want more time with their children. They don't want to do the extra shift because, like nurses and all, it's not an easy job. When you're in your 20s, when I was in my 20s, I remember once doing 7 nights because one of my colleagues called in sick, and I said, yeah. I was 24. I was like, I can do it, no problem. And, I felt I was so knackered after it, but I was on top of the world, and they gave me like about 5 days off because I did that. It was lovely, and I went on a holiday within that 5 days. And at that time you just make money and spend money. That's what you do. So you can't do that now. Like once you reach a certain, like in my 40s, I can't even imagine doing one night. It just messes my system, my biological clock and everything. It just messes it up. So and then the thing is, people get paid more for night. So some people just physically can't do nights. Then some people can't physically do even day shifts, long 12 hours, because they have back pain. And then you are losing all your children's milestone. Like I lost 3 Christmases when my daughter was under 5 because I was working every Christmas. And when you're a junior doctor, you have rotation. So it's one, and you get shifted from one place to another. So there's no one talking to each other. Yeah, she did last Christmas, and no one's bothered. And you miss, and if you miss it once, you miss it completely. Okay. And then there are people who come in because they have very unwell parents and they just want to go and help them out. But you can go for 2 weeks, 3 weeks. But after that, how's your bills going to be paid? Last year, my mom had an emergency. Like she had something. Thankfully, everything's okay. And it was all clear. But when I heard the news, I didn't call my workplace. I booked the ticket. I booked my ticket and then called my workplace and said, my mom's having this emergency, biopsy being done. I need to go home, and I'm going home. This is the days I'm going home. If you want, you can use my annual leave. If not, I'll go without pay. That is what this business has done for me. And that is the confidence. And that is why I'm telling you, that is what this business can do for you. The confidence of, if you have an unwell child, if you have an unwell parent, if you want to not miss even a single milestone of your child, because that is the cost of not taking action today. Just think about the cost of not taking action. For me, it cost me dearly, dearly. By the time I heard my daughter, she was in a very dark place. Thank God she's in a good place now and doing well. I thank God for that. But she was your children, you might think, and that's what I thought. Oh, when she was small, we had a nanny, we had a live-in nanny, we had a childminder when all the way up to primary school. And then you're like secondary, she's independent. Why does she need? Your children always need you. Even if I now have something which I want to ask, I'll call my mom and ask. You might think I'm a doctor, but I'll still call my mom and ask. Your mom duties will never stop. Your children always need you. Okay? And what if, you want to send your children to university and you don't have the money, and they take out a loan, and then they live in debt. They start their adult life in debt. Is that what you want for your children?
Exactly.
Or you want to retire. Now, these are all people talking to me. I'm not making up this, because like what Harshani says, I hear people's story when they come into the coaching call. Then they've worked for the NHS 30 years and they have nothing to show for it. And then they've calculated their pension. And when they retire, they can hardly pay their gas and electric. That is very scary. That is very scary. And that is the cost of not taking action today. So I don't mean to scare you, but I'm just making you aware, because like what I've said before, you can learn 2 ways: from your own mistakes. And unfortunately, all these examples I've told you are from our, people who are in my team, their mistakes or my own mistake. But today we are here freely sharing our heart out to you so that you don't make that mistake. Is something to start something new scary? Of course it is, because you've never done it before. But are you going to be alone? Of course not. You are going to be in the midst of this beautiful community who's just going to hold your hands. In how beautiful our community is. If I'm sleeping, there's someone in another part of the world who's awake to actually talk to someone in my team in UK because they're doing night shift. That's how much we will look after you. Okay. And I can say there's no other business like this anywhere in the world because I've tried a few.
I vouch you.
I hope that answered your question.
Yeah, definitely. Because I have been there, like my daughter is a teenager. She's going for her university next year. So have to find money because we are still on our visas. So that was
it's international fees, isn't it?
Yes, but now I have another 1 year to build this business, and I think, thank God, I got this opportunity so that I can support her dreams. I can't, discourage her saying that we don't have money, you can't go to a university or get a gap year or something like that. But as parents, we always wanted to support them. And in this kind of countries or developed countries, when we are living, we need to have this kind of comfort. And you can see the real people behind this platform, the Dr. Susie and myself. There are thousands of people behind this. They are doing this because they are real people. They are not scammers, or they're doing a legitimate business around their 9-to-5 job. So this is a humble reminder for you. The world is moving fast. These kind of opportunities, there's a right time to take. This is the right time to take this. And this is the right kind of a business platform that we can always start alongside our day job. So I believe these insights from Dr. Susie's story would inspire you as well, and then resonate with you. And then if you want to know more about this, and if you need guidance to start this one, so connect with both of us and through our pages, Dr. Susie or myself, and we are happy to guide you through the next step. And thank you so much, Dr. Susie, for your time today during your break. I'm so grateful to you, and I'm wishing you all the very best to your daughter for her O-levels, right? And then A-levels. And no wonder she will follow your footsteps. You are a smart person.
Not as a doctor. She doesn't want to be a doctor, but yeah.
But she will do great, I'm sure, for all the blessings from everybody. And wish you all the very best to Dr. Susie.
Thank you so much, and wish you also the very best.
Yeah, in the highest possible rank in future. Right. Thank you so much for today.
Take care. Bye-bye. Bye.
You, everyone.